This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. In this Business Intelligence Master program, in today's session, we are going to see copy multiple tables in bulk with lookup and ForEach activity. So, right? So, as of today, we have seen copying a single table from SQL database to the SQL database, copying single table from SQL database to the blob storage. Okay, inside blob storage also, we were handling the one file or one table. So, in real time, it's not a one file or one table, right? We will have a multiple tables. Remember, we will have a multiple tables. What we need to do, we need to copy all these multiple tables from Azure SQL database to the blob storage. Okay, so this is the requirement we are going to see today. Our requirement today is to copy multiple tables from Azure SQL database to the blob storage. Okay, fine. Now you see what we will learn today's session. Again, we are going to discuss about scenarios, then data types in SQL. I just included those things again. Okay, table syntax and example, stored procedures and examples, estimations, prerequisites and required resources. Whatever we have done yesterday, same things. Along with that, today we are going to see like multiple tables. Only the difference is yesterday we were doing with single table. Today we are going to do with multiple tables. A demo. So we are going to create SQL database. Then we will create tables, stored procedures. We will create blob storage, and then we are going to create Azure Data Factory V2. We need to create linker services, data sets. We need to create pipeline. Okay, we need debug the pipeline. So we know the difference between debug and run. Debug means partial pipeline you can execute, and without publishing the pipeline, you can able to execute the pipeline. Okay, so run pipeline is not like that. You need to publish the pipeline if you want to run it. Okay, you cannot do partial execution of the pipeline if you want to run a pipeline. Okay, then once you debug or run the pipeline, you can monitor those details through the monitor tab. Okay, fine. So these are the things that we are going to learn. Let's see now. Scenarios. In today's scenario, how to copy multiple tables from Azure SQL database to the blob. So this is the one. Second thing is how to avoid running copy activity if table not available in source side. Okay, I'm going to check what happens is maybe by mistake somebody deleted some table in source side. That table is not available. My copy activity is going to fail. So what I wanted to do, I want to avoid such type of scenarios where I'm not running my copy activity if the source side table is not available. Okay, so I have a 10 tables in my SQL database. These 10 tables I want to copy into the blob storage. When I am copying these 10 tables from SQL database to the blob storage, if any table is not available, I don't want to run a copy activity. Okay, so what happens is, as the table is not available, if you simply run your copy activity, it will fail. That's why to avoid such failures, we are avoiding the running pipeline if the table is not available in the source side. What is source here? Azure SQL database. Next, we are going to see how to create and maintain metadata table. So this is very important because in every project we are going to maintain a metadata table. So I will show you how you can create and maintain metadata table. In this particular session, we are going to use lookup activity, for each activity, get metadata activity, if activity, copy activity. Okay, these are the activities we are going to use. I hope you know what is lookup activity. Lookup activity is basically to look up on your metadata, and it will give you the list of tables that you want to copy. For each, what it is going to do, it is going to take all that list of tables. Okay, for each will give you one by one table. It will iterate one by one table. It will give it to the get metadata. Get metadata is going to check whether it is exist or not. How it will check? With the help of field list. If you open field list as exist, it will check if the table is existed or not. If table is existed, it will return true. If the table is not available, it will return false. If get metadata activity is returned true, then I'm going to check in if activity whether get metadata activity returned true or false. If I check in if condition, if activity is going to return true, if get metadata activity is written true. So when I got true in my if activity result, my if activity condition, in that true activities, I will add the copy activity. Copy activity is nothing but just to copy data from SQL database to the blob storage. For one table, I will finish it. So for each, I will ask for each, can you give you other items? So for each will give me another item. So in that item, I will just again check the table is existed or not by using get metadata. So once it will return true or false. True means table is existed, false means table is not available. I will take that condition, I will just put it in a if condition. In if activity, I will check that particular condition, whether get metadata return true or false. So if get metadata return true means table is existed, if activity also will return true as per my condition. And whenever if activity return true, so it means everything is fine. So I just have to exclude the copy activity. I will add the copy activity. Okay. So that's how our flow will continue. So in this, so you have a lookup activity. In this lookup activity, you are create a data set to reference to metadata table. This is basically a reference into a metadata table. What metadata table we have? What is meant by metadata? Data about data. I have a tables which has the data, but I am keeping here not about data. I am keeping in this metadata table data about data. What is data about data? Tables information I'm keeping here. Tables is having data, but I'm not worrying about the actual data. I'm talking about metadata, that is table list. Okay, all the table list, where these tables needs to be copied, okay, the destination locations, everything will be included in this metadata table. When I read this metadata table by using lookup activity, I will get all these result which you have. Whatever data you have in metadata table, that will come here. What is source and sink? Source means what is the table source side. Sink means how you want to load it. This is the my table. I am loading as a cust.csv. emp is the my table. I am loading into my blob storage as emp.csv. I have a sales table. I am loading into blob storage as sales.csv. I have a orders table. I am loading it as a order.csv in my blob storage. These four result I will pass it to my ForEach activity. How will pass? At the rate activity of lookup activity dot output dot value. We have seen that, right? So activity dot lookup dot output dot value. When you use this condition, it is going to pass all these four items to the ForEach activity. In ForEach activity, you have these four items. We have these four items. This first column, this first record is a actual headers. That's why you'll get only four items. Out of these four items, what I will do, one by one item, I will pass it to the get metadata activity. Get metadata activity, it is going to do, what it is going to do is it is going to have a data set which is going to accept the table name and the schema name dynamically, meaning I need to check whether this table is available or not. But you have multiple tables, how you will create multiple data sets and how you will change dynamically? It is not possible. So that's why we need to create a data set. To that data set, we need to pass the table names dynamically one by one with the help of dynamic parameters. Okay, we have seen that. So that's how I will pass one by one table to my get metadata activity. Get metadata activity inside, I will open a key called exists. Okay, this exist will return true if the table is available in your Azure SQL database. This will return false if the table is not available in your Azure SQL database. Now, based on this value, I will go to if activity, if condition. Here I will check if equals this condition. Okay, activity of metadata dot output dot exist, whether it is this condition is true or false, meaning this activity output is true or false. If it is a true, I'm saying here also true, comma true. I'm checking here equals of true comma true, whether both are equal. Yes, true and true is always same. That's why your final condition is going to be true. If it is a true, I'm going to add the copy activity. If it is a false, I'm going to add the wait activity. Okay, now for each, what for each is going to do, one by one item it will give. Let's say first get method for each has given first item, that in that item I have. So let's say here item is nothing but a cust.csv is my first item. In this cust.csv, I will just pass the cust is my table name into my get metadata activity as a dataset parameter. This cust table will be verified in your Azure SQL database set. If it is available, exist will return true. If everything, see what I'm doing, this output I need to pass it to the if activity. In if activity, I'm checking the output of this get metadata activity is, see here output.exist, whether it is a true or not. If it is a true, Here also true. Overall condition is going to be true. I will add it to the like I will go inside true activity and I will execute a copy activity. Okay, now so once everything is done, for each will pass next item. In this next item, I have emp comma emp.csv. In this emp name I need to take and I need to check whether this emp table name is available in Azure SQL database or not. If it is available, exist will return true or false. Okay, let's say exist is written false. It is not available. I will go and I will check in if activity. So this value is what now output that exist is false. False comma true is active. Sorry, false comma true is equal or not. Both are not equal because this is going to be false. This is going to be true. Both are not equal. So it means overall condition is going to be false. So I will go and execute wait activity. Okay, done. So I will go and take the third item, that is sales comma sales.csv. I will go and check sales table is available in Azure SQL database or not. If it is available, exist is returned true as it is available. That value I will pass it to the if condition. Here I will check this is true. Here also we have a true. True comma true is equal or not? Yes, equal. So I will go and execute my copy activity. Fine. I will go and take my fourth item, that is order comma order.csv. In this order table, I will check whether it is exist or not. It is not available, so it is going to return a false. That false value I will pass it to the if activity. In if activity, you are going to check output that exist. It will be false comma true. Whether it is equal or not, it's not equal. So overall condition is going to be false. So I will execute a wait activity. So this is the flow we need to define in the pipeline. Okay, clear now? Any questions? Because this is very, very important. So if you understand this particular flow, you can able to understand. Okay.
Malaya, regarding this get metadata activity, the key value is child item, right? Generally, for that get
Field.
metadata activity.
Yes.
So the key is child items, right? In general, but we here we are
Not child item. See, child item you are going to use when you want to check the all file names, like list of files which you have in a folder. Then you need to ask child item. Here I want to check whether some X person is existed or not. So for that, exist, whether table is existed or not, this file is available or not. So to check, you need to use a field list as exist. I have shown you multiple things, right? So last modified date, you have a child item, file type, file name. Okay, many other things we have. So we need to
okay.
use exists because we are
Got it.
going to check
Yeah.
whether this table is available or not.
Got it.
You use
Thank you.
child item. So child item is totally different, right? So to get the list of files which you have under a folder, then you need to go for the child item.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, friends? Okay, if no questions, let me move on. Now you see copy data from SQL database to the blob storage. You know, we have a SQL server, in that you will have a SQL database. Here I have a custom table. Example, this is, let's focus on one table. Okay, I have custom table. To this custom table, I want to move it into the blob storage. How will move? So first you need to create a linked service. You need to connect to the this particular database. Then once you connect, you are going to create a reference point to read the customer table. Then this customer table I want to copy data, so that's why I'm going to use a copy activity. Then this copy activity, like this table data, I want to load it into my blob storage in some X folder. Maybe you can say some output folder. For that you need to create a one more reference point. This is the output data set, output reference, where you want to put this data in a blob storage. To put this data in a some folder in blob storage, you need to have a access. That's why you need to create one more linked service to your blob storage. Once you create the linked service for your blob storage, inside you will have a folders. In that folder you can put this custom.csv file. Customer table I am loading as a custom.csv. So who is going to do all these things? Azure integration runtime is going to. Who will manage all these things? We know our Azure Data Factory is going to do. Okay, this is simple copy activity, whatever we have inside that activity, inside that overview diagram, right? So now we'll see lookup activity in detail. We will talk about lookup activity today. See, lookup returns list or first row only, depends on configuration. So suppose I am not sure how many of you observed when we were using last time. I have shown you both first row and list of the values. So there is something called in lookup activity property called first row. If you check that first row, you will get only one record from the table, top one record from the table. So if you say returns list of items means it is going to read entire table. So entire table means how much it can read. So maximum of 2 MB of data, or it can read maximum of 5,000 rows of data. Okay, because lookup has capability to read only. Lookup is nothing but basically to read a metadata. So metadata, it will not be more than 5,000 records, and it will not be more than 2 MB. Okay, that's why lookup will support these configurations. Once you have done that, so example we will see here. If we have first row, see, you will get first row and you will get only this value. Only you will get this value. If it is a list, if you are unchecking that first row, then you will get count. Count is 2. Here you see this is the first item, this is your second item. Total count is 2 items here. This is first item, this is second item. Now when I want to pass this output to my for each activity, then I have to say @activity dot output dot value. If I give value 1 and 2, these two items will be passed as the input to your for each activity. See here, @activity of lookup activity dot output dot value. Value means it will give you this. Okay, if you say activity dot output dot first row, only it is going to pass only first row. Okay, now see for each activity. The for each activity has a maximum batch count of 50 for parallel processing and a maximum of 1 lakh items, meaning you can able to copy 1 lakh items by using for each activity. One thing. Second is at a time you can copy up to 50 tables. At a time you can copy up to 50 tables parallelly. When there is no dependency, you can go and copy 50 tables at a time. Next, you can't next step for each lookup inside another for each lookup or an until loop. So what it means is, I am not sure how many of you know, inside for each I want to use another for each. That is not possible. If you want to do that, the workaround is you need to implement a child and a master pipeline relation that we are going to see. Now you see here, lookup activity is this, right? Lookup output. So when I am not selecting one row, I'm selecting list of the records, meaning all the data I'm trying to read. Then you will see, you will get this output. In this output, @activity of lookup activity dot output dot value, meaning these two items will be passed to the for each. See, for each input is value. This is the one, this is the two. These two will come here. In this, what is the items? Item means, see, this is going to be your first item. This is going to be your second item. So first what happens is you will get this item. Okay, this item will be passed to your get metadata activity. In get metadata activity, if I want to pass table name, what you need to do, this is called a item. In this item, if you want ID, then you have to say item.id. If you want schema name, item.schema. If I say @item.table, I will get a table. So can you tell me, now when I ask @item.table, what is the name I will get? @item.table, when I ask, what is the name I will get? What is the result?
Table 1.
Very good. So I will get a table 1. Now, when I came to this particular item, I will use same @item.table. So what is my value?
Table 2.
Okay, remember table 2, meaning you are not going to change this particular dynamic content. This dynamic content will be there always same. Only thing is, when you pass this item, in this item table name is table 1. In this item table name is table 2. That's why values are going to change as per your values change. These new values will be passed to your data sets. Data set will check, maybe like in get metadata, you will have a data set which will take the table name dynamically, and get metadata will check whether this table are available or not. Okay, so something like that, you will have item 1 and item 2. This is clear. See, value, this value, how I will pass it to the for each input activity dot lookup activity dot output dot value. So lookup activity output dot value. So if you say count, you will just get 2. Number 2 will be passed to the for each. But I'm saying value. Value means all these items we are going to pass. details. In these details, this is the first item, this is called a second item. Now let's see get metadata activity. See, get metadata activity takes a data set as an input, meaning data set means reference point, which reference to a particular table, and returns metadata information as output. So it will return a metadata information as an output. The maximum size of returned metadata is around 4 MB. It can able to return a metadata information of size 4 MB. Okay. When you want to validate that a file or folder or table exists, specify exists in the get metadata activity field list. You can then check the exists, true, false. Result in the activity output. In the activity output, you can check whether this exist parameter returned true or false. And now you see this is for each input. In this we have a item 1. Okay, I want to check in this item whether it is available or not. So my exist parameter is going to check if it is available, it will return true. Okay, once this is done, I will pass my second item to my get metadata. So this second item, it will check, get metadata will check, it will return false. Why it is returning false? Because this table is not available. Okay, see field list. What you need to use field list is you need to use the exists. Here item.id, item.schema, item.table. So based on your requirement, whatever you want to read, you need to read from this particular item. Okay. Now see get metadata output is showing something like this. See exist true. Item name test.csv, item type file. If you have opened item name, item type, size, last modified date. Okay, so if you're trying to understand the metadata like exist, item name, item type, size, last modified, everything it is going to give you. But I want to focus only on exist. I will just open a field list called exist. In this exist, I will check whether it is a true or false. Okay, next, if activity. The if condition activity provides the same functionality that an if statement provides in programming languages. If you know C, Java, or Python, whatever language, in all languages we will have a if statement. How if statements will work? Exactly same your if condition also will work. Okay, it executes a set of activities when the condition evaluates to true. If entire condition is true, if activity will execute some activities. Example, in our today's session, if the if activity returned true, then we are going to execute a copy activity. Another set of activities when the condition evaluates to false. If the if condition evaluates to false, the condition if condition returned false, then you are going to use another set of activities. Example, in today's session, we are going to execute a wait activity if we get the false. Okay. Now you see here, if it is return true, my if activity also will return true. If it is returned false, my if activity also will return false. How? Because I'm going to check something condition like this at the rate equals activity of get metadata dot output dot exist. Whether this exists, it is true or false. Here it is true. Okay, this is true. This is also true. The overall condition is true. Now this is false. This is false. Okay, activity of get metadata dot output dot exist. This is false. You have a true here. False comma true is equal. No. Overall condition is false. So here the result of if activity is false. Okay, clear. See, this is your first item. This is your second item. So one by one item you are going to check. So if activity, see in if activity as we discussed, right? If it is true, then it is going to execute true activities. If it is false, it is going to execute false activity. Okay, so false activities it will execute if the condition evaluates to false. If the condition evaluates to true, then you are going to execute true activities. Okay, fine. Now commonly used data types as we discussed since last few sessions, because these things are important if I want to create a table. Okay, date time means whenever you are defining any column, you need to define the data type. So date time means when you want to specify date and time, you need to give the data type as date time. If you want to provide only date, then you have to use a data type is date. Varchar means names, and varchar means name with special character. Okay, example, Malaya end. Okay, ampersand symbol, ampersand or question mark symbol I want to use, and Cloud Pandit I want to put. So in that case, it's a special character I'm going to use. Then you need to use an int. It supports numbers. It can be product ID or okay, pin code numbers, all those things. Big int means it's a same number, but it's a big number. Example, 4 numbers as we discussed. Okay, these are the commonly used data types, but apart from this, we have a many other data types. Next, table syntax. You know, yesterday also we discussed, and last few sessions we were discussing table syntaxes. Create table, table name, column 1 data type, column 2 data type, column 3 data type, column n data types. So if you have 100 columns, just mention each column name and what kind of data you want to put it under that particular column. If the column 1 is ID, okay, then it is always number. So I want to define it as int. If the column is something processed date time, okay, processor timestamp, then I want to give a date and a time, date time data type you need to use, something like that. So you see here, create table cust id int, cust name varchar, cust phone number begin, cust joined date is the date time. So something like that. I have a these 4 table, like these 4 columns in my cust table, these 4 columns in my cust table. Now I want to insert records. How will you insert? Insert into table name, column 1, column 2, and column 1. Values are value 1, value 2, value 1. So we discussed when you need to mention column names, when you no need to mention column names. You need to mention column names in 2 conditions. One is you are not providing data for all the columns. Second thing is when you want to provide a data, but you don't know in which order these columns are defined in the table. So you want to provide data randomly when you are inserting, then you need to provide the column names. So these are the 2 ways. So you know the order of columns which is different in the table. You are providing data for all the columns, then you need to use this syntax. Okay, fine. Select the data from table. How will you select? Select the star from cast, or if you want to select a particular column, okay, select column name from cast. Star means all the columns. If you specify particular column name, so it will give you only particular column. If you have multiple columns, just comma separated, cust id comma cust name from cust table. This is the table syntax, how we will create, insert, and select the data from the table. Now we'll see procedure syntax. Okay, so stored procedure, anyhow we are not going to discuss today, so that's why I'll just leave these things as it is. Okay, we discussed previously, but let's go to the estimations. In estimations, you can see how many linked services we are going to use. For each Azure SQL database, 1 linked service is required. For each storage, 1 linked service is required. How many data sets depends on reference points. How many activities? So today we have discussed multiple activities we are going to use, but if you are using copy activity means to copy data from SQL database to the blob storage. If you are using if condition means to check some condition. Based on condition you are going to decide whether you want to execute copy activity or not. Okay, now based on your requirement you need to add the other activities. Okay, now how many pipelines? Only 1 pipeline we will create today. What type of IR we need to use today, friends? What type of IR we need to use? Can you tell me?
Azure.
Azure only, because we are still moving data from cloud to cloud, so we can go with the Azure integration runtime. Prerequisites, so we should know Azure SQL database, blob storage, data factory, integration runtime, and type, what type of integration runtime we need to use, what is linked service, what is data set, activity, and the pipeline. So all these things we discussed in detail. Okay, let's go with required resources. In required resources, we are going to create a SQL server, SQL database, blob storage, Azure Data Factory, V2. These are the things we are going to create. Okay, these are the slides I have, friends. Any questions before I go and do the lab? Any questions, friends? If no questions, good. Come here. So let's create one by one. I want to create a SQL database. Okay, just click on SQL database. Just click add to create the SQL database. So we have seen yesterday under a SQL server how you can create multiple databases. Okay, so today what I will do, I will create the SQL server and SQL server on the fly. So subscription is free trial. Resource group I can say cloud funded. Click OK. Come here, database name. So database name we can say cloud funded SQLDB. Let's click create new. I'm creating this server. You know database means you'll have a data. If you want to manipulate that data, if you want to modify, you want to delete, you want to add some data, you need to pass your request to the server. A server will serve your request. A cloud panel SQL server, if anybody can give the instructions, no. So that's why we are going to set the some kind of a username and the password. Okay, in which region I am creating SQL server? In East US, click OK. Elastic pool we discussed, to share the resources between the databases, you can use elastic pool. So this is the database transactional units. Based on DTUs, I'm purchasing my database, but the other way is vCores. You can go and purchase your database by using a vCore model as well. Like you can just increase your number of cores, you just increase your storage. Okay, all those things we discussed. I want a empty database, so then you just select none. If you want some sample, then you need to select sample, leave key value paste everything as this, click review test create, click create. Okay, now come here. It's a total data. This is I created SQL database. Here let's create blob storage. Let's say here I will say, so just click on storage account, click add to create the storage account. Resource group is I will give your PA master program, and the storage account name I can say cloud Pandit storage. So everything I'm keeping as this. So you know, standard means HDD, premium means SSD, storage V2 you will get all the things. Okay, storage V1 means you will get everything except data like storage gen 2. Blob storage means you will get only blob, you will not get tables, queues, files, all those things. Okay, so let's go with storage V2, and I will use only blob storage in it. Create replications, everything we have seen in details, so we can create a. Now come here, I want to create a Azure Data Factory. I will create Data Factory, just click on Data Factories. Let's click add to create the Data Factories. Resource group is this. A region is East US. Let it be Cloud Connect PDF V2. Okay, this is the Cloud Connect BI ADF V2. Git configuration, I want to configure it later. Just click review test create. Click okay, fine, running final validation. Everything is fine. Just click create. Now you see database we have created, storage we have created, and our ADF also we have created. Now database is still, database is also now up and running. Now what I wanted to do, I want to create a multiple tables. Okay, so quickly let's create all the tables, and even I want to create a metadata table. How you will create all these things we will discuss first. Okay, let's say create table, custom table. Okay, in this customer ID int, customer name varchar. Okay, just two columns I'm taking, because even you can have a multiple columns, but you just say this is a EMP, it's a product table something. Okay, department table. Okay, you see EMP means employee ID and employee name. It is a product ID, product name. Let's go with simple table. We will create departments means department ID and department name. Okay, so now I have created the 4 tables. Clear, friends? Now I want to insert data into all these tables. So I will insert into first values. So you can say 1, and you can say here 2. So I'm inserting 2 Krishna, 3 Sai. Okay, so these are the 3 customers we have. Next, I want to insert records into my employee table. Insert into EMP. Values are, you can say 10, comma, David, 11, comma, Sam. So 12, comma, okay. Okay, something like this. I am just adding these 3 employees into my EMP table. Now I want to go and insert records into my product table. Insert into product. Values are let's say product ID. You can say the 111 and product name is, let's say, laptop. 222. Product name is, let's say, mobile. Okay, keyboard, something. Okay, something like this. I have these 3 products. Now I need to go to department. Okay, how you will create department? Insert into the EPT table. Values, I want to insert the values are, let's say here 100. Department is HR department. 200 development department. 300, I want to say here it's a something testing department. Understood, friends? So I created these 4 tables. I am inserting few records into all these tables. Now final table that we need to create. See, our source tables are ready. All the 4 tables are ready. Now our focus should be, I need to focus on metadata table. How to create metadata table? Create table, save. So whatever name you want to give for your metadata table, you can give here. Okay, you can say a metadata table, or you can say Cloud Pandit tables. Okay, I'm saying create table, Cloud Pandit tables. In this table, what all information you want to keep, all the useful information you need to keep. Here you need to say source schema. So you know that by default the schema for all these tables is DBO. We have seen already. So even when we were copying data, we have seen how you can dynamically pass your schema. Even if you are passing the schema dynamically to your data factory, it is creating this schema in your database that we have seen. Schema by default schema is DBO. So you need to say schema. What is that schema? DBO. It's a name. That's why varchar. You can give some varchar characters. You can just up to 10. You can take 10 means 10 characters. Okay, fine. Next, source table. Source table. This is also name, right? So what I need to do? Varchar of 50. Okay, table. Simply I'm just taking 50 characters. This source schema, source table, I have information. But where I want to load, I need to say sync container name. Sync container name is going to be, again it's a name. Okay, now sync file name. Okay, sync file name. So I want to load sync container name and sync file name. So sync file name, this is also name of the file, right? So varchar 50. Okay, fine. Next, what I want to check, status column. So status column I'm not going to use today, but in our upcoming labs I'm going to use the status column. But you will have a status column mandatory. Status, whether it is a succeeded or failed. So you need to take, it's a name. Next, this table, sometimes what happens, some of the tables will not get the data. Client will ask, don't process this table temporarily, some 1 week or 2 weeks. You need to put that particular table in an inactive state. How you can do that? For that, is active is the column you need to take, which will have a number. 1 means active, 0 means not active. Okay, it's an integer. So with these columns, I'm going to create a metadata table. In this metadata table, I need to keep all my information. Okay, let's try to insert the data into this metadata table. One insert into Cloud Pandit tables. Values are first schema. You know, for all the tables, the default schema is DBO. Source table. Let's go with first table is our cost. I want to load this cust table in where? Cust container. In this, I want to load this file as cust.csv. Okay, so I want to load this file as cust.csv. If you don't want to give the file name, you can just leave it. Okay, next. What else we have? Status and is active. Status is ready. Okay, ready means it is ready to process. It is not succeeded. It is not failed. It is not succeeded. It's simply ready. Next is active. Yes, this table is active. Next. See, DBO schema is DBO only. Only the table name will change. This is going to be EMP. This is going to be, yeah. Let's see here. EMP container. File name should be emp.csv. Status is ready and is active is 1 only. Next DBO. This is going to be something product. What I can do? Product container. In this, I want to create a product.csv. Okay, ready and 1. Next we have this one is called department. So I will say here department container. Here you can say dept.csv and ready 1. Now here I will take one more table, sales. This sales table I want to load it into sales container, and this should be sales.csv. Okay, ready and 1. Next, one more I'm taking. This is inactive basically, a 0, and table name is you can say transactions. This transaction table I want to move it here. I can say trans container. Here the file name should be transactions.csv. Okay. Now you see, out of all these 6 records, so how many tables are inactive? Tell me how many tables is inactive?
2 tables.
Which
Only
table?
one. Transaction table.
Very good. So transaction table is inactive. Out of all this table, how many tables are not available in the database? So I'm going to create those 4 tables. Then how many tables will not be available in the database?
I think transaction is
2 tables.
What are those?
Sales and transaction.
Okay, very good. Sales and a transaction, both tables are not available in my source side. Okay. Even if you have created the transaction table, you are not processing because it's a 0. Okay, 0 means inactive. Okay, fine. Let's try to do one more thing. Okay, so I don't want to confuse it. Okay, let it be. So let's say, I'm just thinking you will confuse something. Okay, let's remove this. So I will inactive this department table itself. Okay, I will inactive this department table itself. Okay, fine. Now you see, out of all these, one table. So you have a 4 tables. And this sales table is not active. Oh, sorry, this sales table is not available. Next, department table is not active. Okay, remember again, I'm repeating. I have 4 tables in my database. Sales table is not available. First step. Second thing is, this department table is inactive, not active, meaning now I should not run copy activity for these 2. I need to copy only these 3 tables. Now we'll go and do how we can implement the pipeline. But before that, how I have created these tables, how I am inserting the data into these tables, everything is clear, because this is very, very important for today's session. Once you understood this, remaining things are very, very simple. Clear, friends? Okay, so there is a other solution people will follow. What they will do in SQL Server side, they will write some kind of a query. That query will give you the list of tables which you have in the database. But that is not the real-time case, because in real time, we are not going to take all the tables. We will, so client will specify these are the tables I want to process. So you need to collect only the list of tables that is given by your client. Second thing, each table you need to specify the destination as well. For that, whatever queries you are executing in your SQL Server side to get the list of tables, that will not work in real time. So if you're not able to understand what I was telling, so don't worry, I will show you practically. Okay, fine. Now I want to create all these tables and insert records into respective tables. Okay, let's go here, database, go to database. So basically we need to connect to the database from SSMS, but I will try to set up SSMS soon. Now just first thing we need to turn on the firewall, set server firewall. So what we need to do, add the client IP, turn on this, save it. If you're not turning on, this will work most of the time, but safer side you can able to turn on this. Okay, click on query data. Here you can put the password. I kept password here. So here I want to create all these tables. Okay, just okay, let's do one by one. First let me just let's create 4 tables first. Let's see there is no tables. You see, refresh it and check, there is no table. I'm just creating these 4 tables. Run it. See, 4 tables created. Let's refresh this and check. We'll have 4 tables. Now I want to insert records into 4 tables. Run it. So total 12 records, 4 into 3 in each table. 4 tables we have. In 4 tables, each table we are inserting 3 records. 4 into 3, total 12 records inserted successfully. If you query randomly any table, we'll have a 3 records from DUPT. Run it. Go to messages, see 3 records. EMP, run it. Go to messages, we have 3 records. Okay, so we will have a 3 records. Fine. Now I want to create my metadata table. Let's create metadata table. Run it. So metadata table also created. Now refresh this, expand this table list. See, we have a Cloud Pandit tables. Now I want to insert all these details in it. Running. So 5 records inserted successfully. Select star from Cloud Pandit tables. Here, run it. Go to messages. See, 5 records came. These are the 5 records. Okay, fine. This is all okay. Now I want to ask you one thing. Can you tell me the query which is going to give me only these 4 records, like except department table? I want to get remaining 4 records. For that, what kind of query I need to execute? So I need to put some condition. We know why we are going to do that. Okay, select star from this Cloud Pandit tables where is active equal to 0, is active equal to 1. So when you put is active equal to 1, you will get all the tables except the department table. So this is how at the beginning of my copy lookup activity, I am going to use this, where is active equal to 1, where is activity equal to 1. That's how I'm going to filter out my department table in my first activity, that is lookup activity itself. Okay, let's see now. You understood, right? Now fine, come to storage account. I don't want to create any container. Everything I'm going to do it from the data factory. Just open this and leave it as this. Let's come to data factory. You go to resource, click on author and monitor. Come to like first thing we need to do is we need to create the linked services. So come to manage. So how many linked services we need? How many linked services we need, friends?
2. Link.
2. Okay, very good. So we need 2. One is to our SQL database. To see SQL database, click continue. This will be ls Azure SQL DB. Okay, auto resolve integration runtime. We know we need to use the Azure type IR. Next, subscription is free trial. Server name is this. Database name is this is the one. Okay, authentication, we know we need to enter our credentials. Just test connection. Created. Okay, so connection is successfully created and you can create the connection. Done. Let's click new. Okay, I want to create one more linked service for blob storage. Continue. This is a ls for blob storage. Auto resolve integration runtime, same account key. Okay, subscription is this, and the storage account is which one? Cloud Pandit storage. Test connection. Connection successful. You created. So we have seen SaaS authentication and other things. Okay, let's go with the account key for now. So we have a two linker services. Now come to author tab. Let's create a pipeline directly. And say PL. Let me rename this PL underscore data movement. Okay, multi table this is my pipeline. Now in this, first thing is, as we discussed, what is the first activity? Tell me friends, anybody remember?
Lookup.
Very good. So lookup, you should not forget our overview diagram, that is very important. Lookup, okay, lookup activity we need to bring here. In this lookup activity, so you can say this is basically for list of tables, so you can say table list. Okay, so and say lookup table list. It is going to give you table list. Look up for getting the table list. So now, okay, now you just go to settings. Here you need to create the data set which is going to reference to your metadata table. Why? Because this lookup activity is going to read your table list. For that, yes, as of now we don't have any data sets. Let's create a first data set, new data set. This is for what? Azure SQL database, right? So select Azure SQL database, continue. Here this should be a DS data set for table data set for Azure SQL DB table list. Table list. Okay. So you can use, if you want to read any data from a database, you need to have a linked service that we have already created. Use that and you can directly select the table. The problem if you select the table is, irrespective of what kind of data you have in that table, everything it is going to give. So that's why I don't want to select the table. Don't select table, click OK. So we discussed multiple ways, right? Query, stored procedure. Remember friends, we know how to write, like how to select table. Table means everything it will give. Query means you can able to filter out. Stored procedure also same, you can able to filter some data. Query. So I want to issue a query at this particular time. This query is basically something like this: select star from Cloud Pandit tables. Okay. So just when you do like this and click preview data, when you write this query and click preview data, you see you are getting one row. That's what I said. We have two options. One is one row it will give. Second is it will give list of the records, like all the records. For getting all the records, you have to uncheck this. First row only. If you check this, you'll get only one row. If you uncheck this, you'll get all the records. Now preview data, you will see all the records. See, so in this, I don't want this department table because department table is temporarily inactive, so that's why I need to filter it out. So is active, is 0. This particular record I don't want. Only I want records where I have a is active equal to 1. So that particular condition I will put it here. Okay, what I will do, where is active equal to 1. Now preview data, you will see the department table will not come. Department record is not coming. Is this clear to all of you friends? Is this clear to all of you? Okay, thank you. Now you see I want to exclude this lookup activity. Just click debug. See, lookup is executed. You know, lookup inside you have all these details which are not much useful. See, you can see here what query it has executed. SQL reader query is this one. Select the star from cloud connect tables where is active equal to 1. This is your input. When you execute this, it has given all the, see here, you need to see here. So I said, right, count is count and values. I have included this in the slides. We have a count and values. So now this is what output. Which output? Tell me which output, friends. Which activity output? Can you tell me?
Lookup activity out.
Lookup.
Okay. Now you need to say if you want to get count of the records which you have, you need to say at the rate activity of lookup activity dot output dot count. If you ask like that, it is going to give you number 4. If you want all these values, okay, if you want all these items, one item, second item, third item, fourth item, so all these items if you want to read, then you have to say at the rate activity of lookup activity dot output lookup activity output. Okay, at the rate activity of lookup dot output dot value. If you ask value, it will give all the items. Clear? Now what I will do, this particular output I will pass it to for each. Let's say that for each you can search for each. Bring that for each activity. For each table it has to do all these things. Okay, that's why I will pass all the output of lookup activity to for each. How you will pass? Just select this lookup, go to settings. Here you need to pass the items, add dynamic content. See, just click on this activity output. See, activity lookup activity dot output. In this output, what I need to put? Can you tell me?
Value.
That value.
What? Value. Not value, value. If you're not clear, you can check once again. It's a value, not a values. Value. Now my question is, can I put, do I need to put in a small letters? I can also keep something like this, capital.
No problem. Anything.
Okay, both are same because it's a case insensitive. It's not a case sensitive, it's a insensitive. Next, sequential batch count. Anybody remember? Can you tell me what is the difference between these two? Sequential means one by one. Serial. Batch means parallel execution. How many parallel execution we can do by using for each? In slides I mentioned up to 50. Now you see 50. Okay. See, it is not increasing. But if I try to decrease, it is decreasing. But if I try to increase, it is not increasing. Up to max, it will take up to 50. Let's select sequential because I want to see the output in detail. That's why sequential, one by one. Up to here, clear? Now I need to add activities. You know how you can go inside for each. You just click on this, or you can click on this. You double click on this. There are 3 ways to add the activities inside for each. Let's simply click on this. See now where I am. I am inside for each table. Okay, inside for each. Before that, what I wanted to, I want to take all this and I want to keep it in my notepad because I need to explain few more things here. So in this, so for each sequential means what it will do, can you tell me? First it will give you first item, next it will give you next item, next it will give you next item, next fourth item. Okay, one by one item it will give it to you. Okay, now inside for each, go inside for each. Now inside for each, what we are trying to do, we are trying to check whether this table is existed or not. Get metadata activity, bring the get metadata activity. Okay, okay, I'm just checking exist or not. That's why I'm saying here get metadata for exist field list. Okay, now come to data set. What I wanted to do, I need to create a new data set because this data set is going to be parameterized data set. Okay, just click new. See, this is very important because same data set I will use in my copy activity. Okay, just click new. This is basically, first you need to understand get metadata activity is trying to check the tables in blob storage or database.
Database.
So I need to create a data set for database. DS get DS for get Azure SQL DB get metadata. Okay. So this is basically this is the linked service you need to create. Then you can pass the table name, but we need to pass all these tables one by one. That's why don't select any table, just click OK. Now, can somebody guide me how I can create a data set parameters? Somebody has to guide me. Just tell me what I need to do. Tell me.
Open data set. Open data set.
1 second.
Click
One
on
by one.
open.
Or continue here. I'm just clicking on data set. Then
Click on parameters.
okay.
Click on new.
Here we need to give the some name. Okay, I will say source table name. I will say source table name. Okay, next. What else
Then
I need
if you
to
want
take here?
like
I need two things. Basically,
container name.
if you remember, 1 second, Manohar. See, if you remember in my metadata table, I have two things, right? Source table name and the source table schema name. So that's why I will open two parameters, source schema name as well. So now I have source table name, source schema name. Now where I need to go? Tell me, Manohar. Connection. Next. Here you see you need to just click on edit. In this edit, here you need to pass a schema name. Here I need to pass a table name. How you will pass schema name? Tell me. Click add dynamic content. Next. Which one I need to select out of this?
Table name.
Schema name. This is schema. This is table. Okay. So now here what I need to select? Table name. Okay. Next, what I need to do? Tell me now what I need to do.
Go to pipeline.
Go to
Okay. Good. Go to pipeline. In this, see these two are waiting. Now let's focus on this. So ForEach has received all these 4 items. First, ForEach is going to give this. Out of this, what details we want? We want only this DBO discussed, right? To get this, what we need to do? Somebody tell me.
write dynamic.
Add dynamic content. Then
What is that? Item dot. Yeah. So you can just click on that. Very good. Just click on this. Add dynamic content. Here you need to say ForEach. So ForEach is having item. This is the entire thing is called item. In this, what you want first? You want DBO. For that, you need to use this particular key. This is a key. Source schema. You just put dot and add the source schema to pass the schema. Oh, sorry, it's a table name, right? It's a table name means what you need to pass here? Source table name. Item dot source table name. If I pass, that table name will be assigned to this parameter. Now I want source schema. Now you need to tell me. Add dynamic content again.
at item dot source schema.
Item dot. So come here, take this source schema. You just put it here. You click finish. Clear. This is clear to all of you. Parmesh, Bhaskar, Ratnaraj, Jitendra, Ram, Sudhir Reddy, Pawan, Ashish. Pawan and Ashish, both of you clear? Because you were joining recently. Pawan, clear?
Yes, Malay.
Okay. Ashish? Okay,
Yeah, Malay,
Ashish.
clear. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Anand. So now you are clear, right? So up to here, let's try to execute and check. Okay, up to here, let's try to execute and check. We don't need to add other activities. Let's check one by one. Just click debug. So what it is saying, field list in get metadata activity cannot be empty. So what we need to do here in get metadata, we need to add a field list. What that field list should be?
If
That is
exist.
okay. We need to check whether this table is existed or not. So let's check. Just click debug. Now I'm just pausing the screen because I want to ask you, can you tell me how many times get metadata activity will execute?
3 times.
How many times?
3.
3 times.
Three. Why 3 times?
Easier to
How
look
many
up like
items? How many
4
items will
items is there.
so 4 item means 4 times get metadata activity is going to execute. See, 4 items.
Yes.
But we know that out of these 4 items, this sales table is not available. So now we need to check wherever you have passed dbo.sales table. Here the output of get metadata will be false. We'll see that one by one. So here my source is see sales.dbo. Let's check output. See exist, it is written false or true? False, because this is not available. Let's go here and check. This is basically product table. Check
screen
here
pause.
product true or false? True. Oh,
Malay
sorry.
screen pause.
Is passed. Okay. Sorry. So now you see we have a 4 times get metadata activity executed. Out of these 4, you see first table is sales.dbo or dbo.sales. In this dbo.sales, see the condition exist written false because this table is not available. Now let's come here and check here dbo.product. This product table is what happened. This product table returned true, meaning this table is available. Let's go here and check. This is basically emp dbo.emp. Let's check what is the result. You see here true. Let's check directly output. It is also true. You understood? For 3 tables, get metadata activity returned true and other things it returned false. But now my question to all of you is, if I want to read this false value, what I need to do? This output is of what? Get metadata. I need to say @activity of get metadata dot output dot exists. If I use this, if I use something like this dynamic content, I will get whether it is a true or false. Okay, how I need to do? Go inside ForEach. After get metadata, now you need to use a if activity. If condition. Bring if condition. Just pass the get metadata output to if activity. If condition. If condition to verify table available or not. You see? Okay. Now activity. In this, I need to give the condition. How I need to put the condition add dynamic content? We know equals. I need to check whether equals. So just click on equals. In this, what value you need to pass here? As a first parameter, get metadata output. Okay, output dot exists. This value is equal to true or not. If it is true, whatever value we got it from get metadata, it is true, and this is also true. Both are equal means it is going to evaluate to true, meaning go inside true. Now you need to add the true activity. See, you can add these true activities. Just click here, or you can click here as if it is a true activities. Now what activity I need to use? Copy activity. Copy data. Bring the copy data. Now in this copy data will be to block a block. Now source side, I will use exactly same data set which I have created for my get metadata. So same data set will work here as well. Okay, if you want to create a new one, you can create, but this data set is also going to go and check the table is available or not. But basically you're going to select the table is available or not. So same thing will work here. Okay, same data set you can use here. If you want to create a new one, you need to create new one, but you are going to follow same steps. You will create a new data set for your SQL database. You will open two parameters. Those parameters you will use and you will pass the values to those two parameters. Don't confuse, okay? I need to pass the table names here. Just click add dynamic content. So how you will know? Again, same like your for each activity. See here, for copy activity also, your for each only is going to pass the values. But where is that for each? For each is not showing here. Okay. One second. So I think it is not referencing directly, but that value will be available here. Okay, what you need to do, item dot. So if you want to pass a table name, how will you pass? You need to give here source table. Okay, so if you want, because all this copy activity, if activities, all these things available where? Inside for each. So for each will pass all these values to inside, like all these items will be passed for the inside activities. Okay, at the rate item dot. Now I want to pass the schema name, source schema. You need to pass here. Okay, clear? Table name and the schema name I'm passing. Now come to sync. Sync is what? Where you want to load this data? I want to load this data into blob storage. Click continue. As a CSV I want to load, continue. So this is going to be our DS for Azure blob storage. The sync. So use the linked service which you have created. Now container name and file name I want to pass dynamically. Check this first as header. So import schema you cannot do because that container name, table name, you don't have anything. Okay, just click OK. You know, first as header means while you are writing as a CSV, you need to mention write with headers. That's why you need to check that box. Okay. Now file extension should be .csv. So I'm changing this one to .csv. These two changes I have done. Now I need to create again a parameters for data set. I will do. Click on data set, go to parameters, click new. Here you need to say sync container name, click new, sync file name. Okay, now come to connections. So container name, how you will select? Same parameter, container name you select here, file name, let's select here, sync file name. That's all. Okay, these two parameters. Now come back to your pipeline. Here you see sync container name and a sync file name. Sync container name. How can I pass? See here directly. For each is not referencing, but you can use directly. You can say because you are inside for each, you can use directly item. Item you can use here. Item dot in this. I want to use container name. Sync container. You need to use this name. Next here, at the rate item dot. You need to sync file name. This is the sync file name. Okay, sync container name and a sync file name I have passed. Okay, so this is what you need to do to copy data from your Azure SQL database to the blob storage, like multiple tables, right? So I'm going to run a pipeline, but before I run pipeline, any questions, friends? Any questions? So in for like in false activity, if you want to put some let's say in false activity I want to use a wait activity. As we discussed, let's put wait activity. You know, right? Wait activity, how it will work? It will just wait for specified number of seconds. So I just say here some 15 seconds, wait for 15 seconds, then you pick either tables. Okay, fine. Now you see, let's click on debug. I'm just clicking on debug, but any questions, friends, before I move on? Everybody's clear? Okay, let's click on debug now. So now you see lookup is going to give the table list, then for each is going to give one by one what table it has given first time. Yeah, if condition. So first table, sales table, I guess. Oh, first table is available now. We wait activity is executing. It is returned true. I think if condition is not correct. See, for all the tables, if activity is executing. Okay, I think condition is something wrong. Let's go and check what is the wrong here. I think you no need to put in a double quotes. Sorry, you don't need to put it in a single quote. Simply you need to put true. Okay, just finish it. Now let's cancel the current execution because there is no use of running current execution. Cancel this. You understood? So in if activity, the condition is I kept the true. This true is not in a single quotes. This should be simply true. Okay. Now just execute once again. See, my execution started again. Lookup is executing, then get metadata. Okay, let's check get metadata. See, this time copy activity is executing. Okay, this time copy activity is executing. You see here, dbo.cust table. For this, our this one is ran, right? Copy activity ran. You should be able to see cust container. In that, you should be able to see the cust.csv file. See cust.csv file. You come back. So refresh this. You should be able to see second file emp.container. Inside emp.container, you can see emp.csv file. Next, refresh this. You see product container. In this product container, product.csv. Okay, but even if you open any of this file, you'll have those three records with columns because we are writing data with columns, right? So you see here, you can see the data. Okay, fine. Now we have data, everything came here, everything is fine. Okay, so wait activity is executing at fourth time. Why? Because get metadata returned false. For what? db.sales table, this is not available, but we are trying to run. So that's why it is written false. When it is written false, if condition returns false, it will evaluate to false. If it is evaluates to false, wait activity will execute. So wait activity is also finishing. We understood. Okay, everybody's clear? Please confirm quickly, friends. Everybody's clear on this? Manohar, thank you, Manohar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me, Murli. Hello, tell me, Murli. Okay, fine. Now you